In this my 11th pearl of wisdom during this COVID-19 lockdown, I cannot help but lament the stubbornness of so many of us to use this period to reflect, inflect, and introspect. Why are there only some of us paying attention in this world to the point where our affairs are managed by so many who are programmed only for the good times, and when these adverse challenges present themselves, are shown up to be absolutely clueless? Thank God our Caribbean region is not as large and economy or finance focused as the outer world economic powers whose systems almost want to force us to be growth driven as theirs are. This abstract greed is responsible for so many of us in this world losing our moral compass. We judge one another by what area we live and by whom the house was designed and built, by what we drive, by where we work and the type of work we do, by how often we can jump on a plane, by who our friends or associates are, forgetting there's so much more to life than how we view it. And does COVID-19 prove that to us? Of course it does. Any employee who believes things will return to the normal they used to know in the aftermath of SARS, chikungunya, Zika, and other epidemics of the recent past, you have another thought coming. Regardless of whether COVID-19 originated in the Chinese lab and it inadvertently got away, deliberate or otherwise, or that it was just as the Chinese said, derived from eating bats, rats, snakes, etc., we all have reality to deal with. It is here, and according to the World Health Organization, WHO, it's not going anywhere and will become just another one of those annual viruses which will kill many people. We will have to develop national policies that would aim to change the dietary habits of our people with a focus on eating smart, all the foods that are good for us, getting the right amount of exposure daily to vitamin D through natural sunlight or by way of supplements, vitamin C naturally through our various tropical fruits and citrus or through supplements, treating ourselves to the right amount of sleep and daily exercise, and desisting from exposure to poor choices which expose us to stress, a sure way to deplete the body's immune system. A total re-education of our people through part mandatory behavior and schooling towards eventual changed behavior, which will bring the desirable results to national development and true and genuine economic prosperity through a healthy nation, is needed. But as an independent sovereign state, we must mind our own business and develop our own protocols and strategies that are both practical and enforceable for us to become a standout in the world, as our continuous culture to fit in has done nothing good for us in our 46 years of independence. We need visionary leaders to take us forward into this new age of knowledge. We need to rise up within ourselves first, before we can ever think of rising up collectively to make sense. A reformation of our thinking is needed. A renaissance or rebirth of our focus with purpose and reason is of absolute necessity. We have to appreciate our history for what it is worth. For a people who have no concept of their history, they are doomed to repeat it. Just how many of our very young population are in touch with our pedestrian history? I take it not enough, and hence a large percentage of them instead make pedestrian spectacles of themselves, as they effortlessly do time and time again. And now for some history lessons. 69 years ago in 1951, a young man from Dunfermline who was born on 18th February 1922. When he was 19 in 1941, Eric Gary left for Trinidad to work on the US military base there, after which he moved over to Aruba, a Dutch dependency, and successfully secured a job in the oil refineries. Funny enough, Gary spent his free time there first as a student in the literacy classes conducted by the church, and later as an active trade union organizer. In Aruba, he received his first political training. As he recalled, the Dutch authorities were not kindly disposed towards labor organizers. It was also in Aruba he met T.A. Marisho for the first time and became interested in Grenadian affairs again. Gary always maintained that Aruba taught him not to be afraid of the colonial authorities, a point he often returned to as long as he was lucid whilst alive. In December of 1949, Gary returned to Grenada, and by the following March, he began to organize a political party, which he first called Grenada People's Party, GPP, the precursor of the Grenada United Labour Party. He was soon to be involved in trade union organizing as well, claiming that by June of 1951, he had the following of 27,000 and was certain that he organized more people in 1 year than any other man in the West Indies. When Gary returned to Grenada at the end of 1949, he came once more face to face with the social and economic order that he deeply resented. He had not been back long before he forced himself in the role of mediator between the so-called official world of St. George's and the peasants or working class in his hometown of Grenville. In 1949, Gary was only 27 years of age, yet established himself as a formidable force to be reckoned with against the British establishment and the St. George's-based officialdom. The constitutional changes of 1951 came to Gary's aid in shoring up his power. The granting of universal adult franchise enabled Gary's meteoric rise to successfully be elected to a much coveted seat in the Legislative Council, which up until that time was the private preserve of the Grenadian elite back then. In short, since 1951, Eric Gary established that the age of leadership and authority had changed from ripe old men of a certain strata in society to the young and vibrant through him, working on behalf of the masses, and punctuating the carte blanche approach the St. George's elderly elites had on power and authority. This begs the question, what is the average 27 to 29-year-old young man doing in our society today? And what is the age range of those who hold power and authority over them 69 years later? Do you think it is fair for us to be asking that question 69 years after a mass leader with a focus as strong as Eric Gary's at such a tender age, who eventually made his mark on our local history, leaving a rich legacy behind? In my 12th Pearl of Wisdom, I plan to share how the commencement of a strange coincidence presented itself in 1969-70, some 20 or so years later when Gary was only 47-48, to your unlimited possibilities.